Hello beautiful unicorns, welcome back to my channel and to this video where I'm going to talk about 5 very unpopular opinions within the beauty community that I happen to have. And I have found myself recently being in a position where I see people being like, this is so awful, this is so horrible, I can't believe blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, I kind of like that. And I just wanted to come on here and just tell you that if you're like me and you also have these unpopular opinions, you're not alone. I'm right here feeling like I'm the only person in the world that actually likes these things. And let's just dig into the things, and let's start with number 1, which is the one of the 2 reasons that I am making this video, and that is jumbled up eyeshadow palettes. People seem to hate those, and I'm over here being like, well, I kind of like that. I brought you 2 examples of palettes where people are like, this palette could be so nice if it wasn't, let's take the brush up, if it wasn't so jumbled up. Like, I saw posts on Reddit of people like just tearing this palette apart and putting it in another, like going from light to dark, and I'm like, I don't want that. I kind of like this. This is put in ways where you could use them in different ways. I like when eyeshadow palettes are jumbled up because it enables you, like this palette, although I'm not really BFFs with the quality of this palette, but I love the way that they put the colors. And the same with this Pure palette, where they are putting colors together that are not necessarily matchy colors and enabling you to find new ways to match your colors, because these 2 are great together and these 2 could be cool together and these 2 could be amazing together. And if they were like from white to dark, maybe you wouldn't have seen that. This is a way for me to spark my creativity, because the way I get creative is by seeing different color combos, and when they do jumbled up eyeshadow palettes like this, it makes me feel more creative because I see new and fun and exciting color combos, not only to use with that palette but with other palettes as well. So I love jumbled up eyeshadow palettes. Another palette that's been really torn to shreds is the Kat Von D Saints and Sinner palettes. I've seen 2 Reddit posts of people just tearing that palette apart, putting it from light to dark, and when I look at that palette then I'm like, well, this seems boring. And it actually got me reconsidering, like, should I even buy this palette? Because when they put it from light to dark, to me it looks bland. So remember that not all people want palettes to be like that. I love jumbled up eyeshadow palette. It makes me feel more creative. I love looking at palettes that are like that. Like the Vice palettes from Urban Decay is another good alternative for that. So yeah, I feel like it's a very unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel about that. My second very unpopular opinion in makeup is that I'm not really into neutrals, and I love color so much. And when people ask me for my go-to look, or my everyday neutral look, or my no makeup or stuff like that, I'm like, I don't do these things. And I want you to understand that these kinds of looks, by the way, I filmed this look, and if it is already up, I'll put it here, but if it's not, it's coming soon. I just wanted to let you know that I wear these kinds of looks in my everyday life as well. If I do a blue smoky eye on YouTube, chances are that I went out in that look. I don't wear these looks on YouTube and then do a beige crease for my everyday. I either wear full-on makeup with color, the way you see me on YouTube, or I don't wear any makeup at all. My no makeup is a moisturizer. If I don't have the time and don't have the energy or inspiration to do a full-on glam colorful look, I'll wear no makeup because I feel comfortable in no makeup as well. And sometimes people are like, you know what, that doesn't look natural on you. I'm like, I have a blue smoky eye. I obviously was not going for natural. Some people use makeup because it's fun, not because I need makeup to feel beautiful. I'm beautiful without makeup too, and makeup is just something that I do for fun, and I don't do colorful looks just for YouTube. And if you're like me, you probably heard this a million times before as well. I just like color. That's it. Third thing, that's really hard to say, third thing that it's a very unpopular opinion, and I've heard this a couple of times on my channel, is that you can't have a bold eye and a bold lip. Of course I can. Why can't I do that? I can do whatever I want. If I want to do that, I'll do that. I have no problem with having a blue smoky eye and a red lip. I'm fine. I think it's fun. If I feel like it's fine, it's fine. Sometimes you know what, I do my makeup for what I'm in the mood for. Sometimes I like a pastel look with a nude lip, I'll do that. Sometimes I like a coral glitter eye with a black lipstick, I'll do that and I'll be fine. There is no, I mean, there's so many rules with makeup that rules are meant to be broken. If you're really creative, a creative person will break the rules. They are there to be broken. That is literally it. And I do a bold eye with a bold lip all the time and I feel comfortable in that, and if you feel comfortable in that as well, you do that. Don't listen to the rules, don't listen to people telling you you can't do that. You can do whatever you want, okay? Okay, that's fine. Something else, and this binds into the last thing on my list. This is number 4, and this is, I really am starting to dislike super huge palettes. Where is this palette going with me? They're like, oh my god, it's like 35 shades, it's like 40 shades, it's everything you need. Ugh, everything I need. I don't want a super huge palette. It is not hard to have a palette with 20, 30, 40 shades. I mean, I can put whatever in there. I can put 3 lights and 15 browns, and I don't see that there's no sport in putting together a palette with that many shades, because you can put whatever you want. I think it's more creative to see what people will do with color combos if they are more limited. I think the perfect amount of shadows for a palette is somewhere like 8 to 16. Somewhere in that area, that's the perfect amount for me. It gives you some options to choose between, although I love a really good quad. If somebody puts together a really good quad, I'm like, way to go, you're the man, girl, boss, you know. And I'm just feeling like, with a smaller palette, I just feel like this one. This is 16 shades. This is like as big, as many shades as I want to have. More than this, it's just, I don't need that. But this has a zillion combos, and it's the same with like the Sula palette. The Sula palette has 9 shades, and I've used that palette, I think, more than I've used any eyeshadow palette that I've had for a really long time. And I can do so many looks with that. And I'm so over huge palettes. I feel like the huger the palette are, the less creative they are, and the more it's just filled up with the same kinds of colors. They're like, let's have every brown we can imagine, and we don't need that. If you want to have browns in your palette, just pick a lighter brown and a mid-tone brown and just do something else, okay? I mean, I'm over the huge palettes, and they're always like, the ultimate palette, everything you need, take this traveling. Where am I going with a palette the size of my dining table? Come on. Okay, that's not happening. That is not happening. So I am plotting some smaller palettes. I am so over the huge palettes. I've been for a while, and I really hope that the trend is going towards smaller palettes for a while, because I'm done. The 5th and final point is the second point that made me feel like I wanted to do this video, and that is, I am sick and tired of the term standalone palette. This term is used as something to knock down palettes that don't have everything you need for a look. First of all, not everybody does their makeup the same way. I can do my makeup with a quad that has 4 blues. I don't need a beige or a peachy transition shade. I'm fine. I'm just saying that not everybody does the makeup the same way, and when you're like, and then when I see big beauty gurus saying like, it's not a standalone palette, like it's a bad thing. That could be a good thing. That means that this palette does not contain a lot of shades that you apparently already own. What is the huge deal about bringing up a second palette? Who that watches, I mean, if you're watching beauty YouTubers on YouTube, that probably means that you're somewhat into makeup, and probably means that you already own at least one eyeshadow palette. Who goes and watches beauty YouTubers if you don't own any makeup? I bet that there are very few. I'm just saying that if you own at least one eyeshadow palette and you buy a new one, why wouldn't I use both of those together? Isn't that the whole thing? I'm bringing in new colors to my collection, so I can either use it on its own, use it together with other palettes, or use it together with some other singles. I mean, the whole idea of a palette being bad if it's not a standalone palette, it pisses me off because I've seen so many palettes being like torn to pieces because some beauty guru says that she can't do or he can't do their whole look with it. So it doesn't have a matte bone color, so it doesn't have a black, so it doesn't have a matte peachy transition shade. You have that. It's not like you were left on a desert island with only this palette and now you're stuck with this palette for the rest of your life. If you're a beauty YouTuber, you have a zillion palettes. You know what I think is the reason why a lot of beauty gurus want the palettes to be a standalone palette? It's because they want to use just that palette and they want the brands to see that they could use just that palette so that they can be shared on social medias. But the rest of us normal people, we mix and match. And lately I've actually made a point out of this, that when I have done looks, I've done looks with 2 palettes. I love that. I've done some of it here on YouTube. I did a look that I love. I even did 2 looks that I love with the Zulu palette mixed with the BH Cosmetics foiled eyeshadow palette. Love that look. Those work great together. I've also been using the Yes Please palette by Colourpop together with the Zulu palette. Love that as well. Also the She palette from Colourpop. That together with the Magic palette by Suvias is amazing because that She palette has those mid-tone pinks crease colors that I felt like the Magic palette is missing. I'm just saying that there are possibilities out there, people, and I feel like when we keep saying standalone palettes, like it's something we need, we are missing some of the creativity, because if every brand keeps hearing this, they're like, people really want those standalone palettes, we better put those shades in the palette. So say you have a palette with 12 shades. So one has to be a matte brow bone color, and people also want a shimmery highlight. And then it has to be at least 2 transition shades, otherwise people are going to be so upset. And there has to be another brown because people want their neutrals, and then it has to be a black because otherwise people are going to be really upset. That's already 6 shades. If you want those 6 shades in every palette you own, there's not that many other shades left to do something fun with, to do something unique with. And I'd rather have a quad on the side with a matte white, a matte black, and 2 mid browns, and I can pick out that quad and use together with a palette that's all new colors. I'd much rather do that. And then people are like, oh, because you don't want to take 2 palettes traveling. Oh, come on, calm your tits, okay? Hakuna your tatas. We all know that you bring 7 bronzers traveling with 3 foundations. You mean to say that you can't stick another one of these in your purse? Ain't nobody buying that, okay? So I just need people to cool down with this whole all-in-one palette, because we don't really need that. Everybody's saying that companies need to be more creative, they need to stop doing the same things all over, and they need to bring out new things. But as soon as they do, there's always a bunch of people, bigger YouTubers, smaller YouTubers, buyers, they're always saying, what am I going to do with this? I can't do a whole look with this. This isn't a standalone palette. I can't travel with this. So make up your mind. Do you want the same things you already own? Or do you want something new and unique? Obviously, you're unpleasable. I'd rather have something new and unique. I have browns. I'm fine. I can just mix 2 palettes together and that's fine. That's not an effort, people. It's not a negative thing. For me, when people say it's not a standalone palette, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Because I know that that means that it's something fun that most people think is hard to work with, and I'm probably gonna think it's pretty and fun and unique and amazeballs. So that's all I had to say about that. Actually, I have to say one more thing about it. I have been thinking about doing a series on my channel. I keep doing series on my channels, but I'm not... When I start series, it's more like I have a theme and I put out videos when I feel like it. It's not like once a week or something like that. It's when I feel like it. But I'm thinking about... I have something where I call one palette 3 looks that I think is really fun, because it's a way for me to show how I think when it comes to color combos and creativity within palettes. And also I'd like to do 2 palettes 1 look to show how do I think when I pull 2 palettes together, what kind of palettes would I like to team together and create looks that could be something unique that not either of those palettes could have done on their own, but together they create something new and fun that I need both palettes to do. So I would love to show you that, because most people out there, they own more than one palette, and right now the beauty community and the beauty industry is huge. So I bet a bunch of you are sitting on a tray of palettes and nobody's showing you how you can do looks with them together. So I would love to be that person. If that is something you're interested in, let me know. My first video could actually be the look that I had on Snapchat that people really seem to love, which was the bright orange and yellow look, where I used the Sulu palette and the Yes Please palette. I really love that look and you seem to like it too, so let me know if that's interesting. And that will be everything for this video. I'm sorry if I'm ranting a bit, but sometimes I just feel like I'm like a lonely little island in the beauty community. I'm just like, doesn't anybody agree with me? And I actually think that you do, but sometimes an opinion is so unpopular that nobody even says that they have it, because you don't want to be left out in the dark. But that's fine. I can be that person. So that was it for today. Please stay here with me and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. Normally I do tutorials and reviews and stuff, and like I said, this look I did film it. Either it's up here in the cards or it's coming real soon. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video, which will be real soon. Bye!